speaking. So while you may already be great speakers, as you are, and many of you, I understand, maybe in the field of training and facilitation, so obviously speaking would, be a very natural skill. But we will just look at some finer nuances, styles and techniques. Some you may know, some it is going to be a reinforcement. And I'm happy to listen to your stories, versions, and queries as we go the session. Okay, so quickly before we start, I just wanted to understand the kind of audience we have today. So as you all know, the four elements of nature is air, fire, earth, and water. If you were to associate yourself with one of these elements, what would that be? Can you put this on chat? To give you an example, I relate to fire. For me, it's that diehard passion, being on the feet. I'm born and brought up in Chennai, so that comes very, very naturally for me. I associate with the fire element, with the charisma, with, just being on the go. So for me, it's the fire element. I'd like to know what is the element that you resonate with. Can I hear it? Can I see it on the chat, please? Okay. I see Prajakta saying water, Shishir saying water. Water is again a wonderful element. It flows with a, flow of life. That's what I look at. And it's so adaptable. Water takes different shapes and forms. What about the others? Priya, you can also participate. Can I see some more responses? Nature, because my name is Kud. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Kudrat. Okay. Air, lovely. That's Priya, right? Fast as the wind. Lovely. Anybody else? I think there are about at least 7, 8 participants. Can I see some more responses, folks? Folks, I'll also request you to put on your video so I get to see your faces. We are speaking a topic where, visibility and presence matters a lot. May I request you all to please put your videos on? Shishir, Kudrat, Prajak. Folks, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yeah, I'm audible. Okay. Okay, unless people are shy of, they don't want to come on video. Okay, so I see a mix of air and water so far, and me being the fire element. I hope the others relate to other elements of nature as well. So yeah, I see one more message. Okay, Kudrat is traveling. No problem, Kudrat. Okay, so fantastic. So on that note of how we resonate ourselves as personalities, we'll get into the public speaking session. Yeah. Okay, so that's a little bit of intro. I'm Yogambika Kumaraguru, your facilitator. As Priya has already mentioned, you see my credentials on the screen, and I'm going to take you through the session today. Okay, I'm excited as much as you are because public speaking has always been my line of passion. To tell you a small story before we start, my first public speaking stage appearance was when I was 2 years, 11 months old. It was for a Christmas function in my LKG. Those days we used to join school early. So I joined in 2.5 years of age. So that Christmas celebration, I think I volunteered to the Mother Superior and said, I want to give a speech. And she was like, if you forget the speech, if you mess up, it is going to become very bad and I'm going to punish you. And me being me, the fearless me at that point of time, happily told, I'm confident I will deliver. I went up the stage, I spoke about the birth of Jesus Christ and the Christmas celebration, and it was very, very well received. Now, why I'm bringing the story is at that age, it was my first stage experience and, very, very memorable speech. I was very fearless, I said. it was not the absence of fear. It was not like I knew what fear was and I had the ability to conquer it. No, at that age, I didn't know what fear was. I didn't know what judgment and criticisms were. So I was just, outrageous. I went on stage, I performed. So that's the kind of natural skill that one need to develop to be a public speaker. On that note, let's get started. Can I hear some response on chat? What, according to you, are important elements of public speaking? What, as per you, makes a good public speaker? You can share some traits, qualities. I'd like to hear it. You all can unmute yourself and speak or put it on chat, whatever suits you.
I believe it is voice modulation.
Absolutely. Very interesting point. Thank you, Regula. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correct.
I'm
Yeah.
Regila.
Regila. Okay. Thank you, Regila. So Shishir says to connect and get a nice response. Brilliant. Quadrat says self-confidence. Yes, very, very important. Any other elements, folks, before we move on? Anybody else wants to speak? Put it on chat.
Confidence.
Absolutely. Confidence. Public speaking means confidence. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's uncover what is public speaking. Okay. The first few seconds, 15 seconds to 1 minute, I would say, is the golden seconds. Now, many a times we will have many speakers in different forums speak to us. Some of them leave a lasting impact. We feel so charged up listening to them. But some of them, we don't feel so charged up. You know, you lose concentration. So what really makes those speakers leave a lasting impact is the introduction. The first few seconds, guys, is the most important part. That will make you sit up, whether I want to listen to this person or no. That will give you the enthusiasm to listen to the entire conversation of what the person has to deliver. Here is where you can, it's like your, what do you say, like your super overs in IPL. It's like your free hit time. It's the best part of the time where you can leave a mark, leave your brand, create a lasting impression. So let's look at some styles of giving a super introduction. Okay, do you see this quote? My life for 22 years between 22 yards. It's hard to believe that the wonderful journey is coming to an end. Can you recollect who said this and at what occasion? It's a very, very popular quote. You can put it on chat, unmute and speak. Nobody? Okay, I'll give you a clue. A cricketer had said this. So absolutely. Thanks, Kudrat, for it. It is none other than Sachin Tendulkar. So it was during his farewell ceremony that he said these words. He could have said anything in his farewell ceremony, but he chose this line. My life for 22 years. 22 years refers to his cricketing career span. And what is 22 yards? It's the length of the pitch. So he summarized his journey as my life for 22 years between 22 yards. So I think it's almost 12, 13 years since he retired, but we still remember this quote and still remember him for that memorable speech because of this wonderful, catchy introduction. So coining an interesting phrase, a catchy punchline, will be a super way to leave a lasting introduction. Okay. So this is one way of leaving a very memorable introduction, making people sit up. Let's look at other styles. Okay. So Alia Bhatt in one of her speeches used this technique. She used her flaws to highlight the strength. This is again very, very popular. This is like a negative style, but to, sort of portray the strengths. Many a times we see some of the names of shops, whenever they write a wrong spelling, for example, the spelling of color is COLOUR, but if they put the spelling as KOLOUR, your attention somehow catches it. So a negative way of presenting a strength is also a powerful technique, and that's what Alia Bhatt used. She said in one of her speeches, I'm terrible at spelling, but I do know what to say to the vulnerable. I have no sense of geographies or directions, but I have deep sense of regard for all the cultures. My general knowledge is mildly weak. She has been trolled big time for her IQ levels, but I've built my emotional intelligence. So, in essence, she said, being yourself is truly the greatest impact you can ever make. So, this was one of a very, very memorable speech. And this is, I would say, a very, very interesting technique, like how you portray a negative aspect, yet to highlight your strength. And this was very human, very candid, very real, and it connected with the audience. It was very honest, so to say. So Alia Bhatt style is another interesting technique of a powerful introduction. Let's move ahead. Okay, so this is Shah Rukh Khan as you see on the screen. Humor is a very, very powerful technique. Again, if you have the, gift of cracking a joke with the audience, nothing like it. So this was one of his TEDx speeches that he delivered in Canada. And this is how he starts. I'm a 51-year-old living life of a 21-year-old. I sell dreams and peddle love to millions of fans, and they assume I'm the best lover in the world. Okay, so despite his fairly old age, but he portrayed himself as that powerful hero, capturing teenagers' hearts, capturing millions of fans, and being the best lover. And he also went on to say, there are lots of people here who haven't seen my work. This was obviously overseas, and actually there was many audience who probably didn't know the quality of work that he did and how he was famous and popular in India. But he makes it humorous, and he says, "I feel sad for you." Okay, so that's the way you connect with the audience. Humor is an extremely powerful technique to connect with the audience, and it will also keep them on the groove to listen to what you have to deliver. Okay, let's move ahead. Okay, so giving a structure to how to structure your public speeches. First thing, first out, understand your audience. Know their age group, they are young, old, or a mix of people, their levels in the business context, their hierarchies. That will help you to understand how to customize your speech in order to make it very appealing and impactful. I would also say when you understand your audience, you know how to, what are those connecting vibes with them. At this point of time, what you can also do is a fairly young crowd, and IPL was just over, and you meet your audience at that point of time. Then you can always speak about the current happening trending aspect, which will really strike a chord with the audience. If you go and ask them, how many RCB fans do you have, especially considering RCB won the match, or how many CSK lovers who are so disheartened, it will immediately connect with the audience. So connecting with the current trends is a very powerful technique, and for that you should know your audience. Okay, and the next important element that can be used in different contexts is starting with a question. Whenever you start with a question, it makes the session interactive to the audience, and they start speaking to connecting with you, sharing their responses. Then you can also, quote a shocking data. This will invoke a lot of curiosity. Did you all know that this percentage of people do this, or some interesting fact that people didn't know? That also captures the attention of the audience in a very, very powerful way. And of course, storytelling. We'll understand more about storytelling in the upcoming slides. So curiosity is an impactful element to start your speech. Reverse introduction, we will just see what that is. Okay. Reverse introduction is basically, you don't introduce yourself upfront, but you start with a storytelling. Then you also explain the purpose, why you are here, to deliver what kind of content, what is your reason for being here, and how to achieve something. And then in the middle of the conversation, you introduce yourself. This is called reverse introduction. Especially in today's Instagram reel-driven environment, you will see a lot where people will say, have you been tired doing this? There are different ways of doing it this in a better way. They would speak about all their content, and in midway they'll say, I am so and so, I am the expert in this, and I'm here to deliver this. So reverse introduction is also a powerful technique in order to deliver a speech in a very effective and impactful way. Folks, any doubts, any queries, any thoughts you want to share, feel free to put it on the chat, or you can unmute and speak as well. Okay. Are you all with me? Okay, let's move ahead. Okay. So I spoke about storytelling. Storytelling is a very, very, very powerful technique that connects with the audience. Let me give you an example in the business context. So our CEO, Mr. Hitendra Dave in HSBC, is still the CEO. He is a person who connects with people at the grassroots level. He was not somebody who was not approachable for us. So he would just, whenever he visits cities, he would just walk onto the work floor to connect with the audience and catch their vibes and deliver speeches. And he used to do it so spontaneously and so organically. So what he used to do is every time he used to walk on the floor and connect with us, he will always have a powerful story to share. And instead of saying, this is the objective of the bank, I want you all to focus on this, focus on automation, cost saving, cross selling, and stuff like that, he would always give stories and draw the key line and drive the idea. For example, he used to tell us stories of how a certain department like a financial control department had large data to deal with, literally lakhs of records to deal with to generate reports for the bank, and literally 4 or 5 resources over a week would work on that data, and how the spark of idea to automate it, to streamline it, sort of made the report available in as less as 5 minutes. Okay, so the moment he shares a story like this, we are very, very inspired, basically to challenge status quo, to look at efficient methods of doing things and how rewarding it is that he is speaking about this success story wherever he goes. So storytelling is an extremely powerful technique. He was also instrumental in sharing success stories, how people collaborate and, grow the business of the bank. So he brought in this idea of individual relationship managers. When they go and meet clients, they can always understand if the client is up to some business and therefore get a corporate account lead for us. Similarly, when we are going and meeting corporate clients, we can always understand the retail banking needs of their family members, of senior executives to serve C-suite accounts. Okay, so this was a very, very powerful technique to grow the business of the bank. And how he popularized this entire strategy was through his storytelling. Wherever he visited the branch members, he would quote successful stories. And whenever he quoted names of people and how successfully they collaborated and won the business for the bank, spoke about the value of business they brought to the bank, it left a very, very lasting impact. People felt motivated to do those cross department, cross selling lead generation. So storytelling is extremely powerful. And instead of speaking, pages and pages of a strategy theoretically, if you speak a story, people will themselves infer what is the key message that they will have to internalize and work upon. So, as you see on the slide, whenever you do storytelling, like quoting a problem, so storytelling can be in different genres, right? So it can be problem solving, or it can be a success journey. And storytelling, whenever you all do, you all should structure it in such a way that people are generally inspired by listening to the journey starting from adversity to prosperity. That is always very, very key. I think since the mythological days, I would say, we were always happy to see the triumph of truth over evil. So in the business context also, from a not so great place, how the story converts into a, powerful ending. These are very, very key aspects that will touch the people of hearts. So look at narrating those kind of stories, which has a very powerful impact from where it started to where it concluded. So climax is a key aspect, and how it ended up resolving, transforming. So plot twist, as I mentioned, can elevate the pitch. like typically in Indian cinema context, we always enjoy watching stories of the hero first falling down and then he will get up and try to win over his battles, right? So it is a very, very powerful technique. And vulnerability and honesty connects to the audience as well. So whenever we see success stories where people say, I started off as a person who could hardly speak, but through practice and persistence, I became a powerful speaker. And today I go and deliver speeches at so many stages and forums. It's a very, very powerful aspect. So how it becomes a powerful aspect? By quoting vulnerability and honesty in a very candid way. Like similarly, we saw that in Alia Bhatt's technique as well. She quoted her flaws to highlight her strength. So that kind of candidness and honesty is something that really connects with people. Triumph over adversity, we just saw. And rags over riches, of course, it's a powerful concept that captivates the audience mind. Okay, so a statistic says that stories are 22 times more memorable than factual aspects. Okay, so learn to captivate people by sharing deeply resonating stories. You will definitely get maximum impact out of it. And how you typically deal with it, you could have had a own story yourself, or you could have read it somewhere, you could have heard from somebody. Nevertheless, it is the plot that will capture the minds of the audience. So whenever you hear an interesting story, an anecdote, it is very important for you to note it down so that you can reproduce the content in a forum that will be most appealing. Analogies also I would like to quote here. It is a very, very important and interesting technique. Instead of saying something theoretically, if you speak about an analogy, that really connects. Let me give you an example of an analogy. So I typically read a lot to collect interesting facts to produce in various contents and content in my training facilitation forums and public speaking workshops. So I normally note down anecdotes. So there's a person called Prakash Iyer whom I follow on LinkedIn. He typically writes those powerful articles, and those will invariably be interesting analogies. A recent one which I read was, he spoke about how user manual came handy when he had to operate some electrical appliance after a long period of time. And he drew inference and analogy as to why not have a user manual in the context of business environment to understand powerfully working leadership style. Imagine a leader leaving a user manual saying, this is how effective this leadership style has worked for me in this organization. So a successor who is taking over that position, if he had some kind of reference material to understand the vibe of that organization, it is going to be a great reference. So this is one interesting analogy that he quoted to deliver a key message. Right. So analogies are also powerful, and just like storytelling, you can use that as well. So for this, reading really helps. Okay. Okay. As Regula said, vocal mastery. Vocal mastery is something that is very, very important. So typically, trainers, you will understand if you just speak in the same pitch tone throughout the session, people are going to get bored or lose interest at some point of time. So when you vary the pitch, adjust the pace, take, say, stress and pause. You should know when to stress, when to pause. Even the pauses are equally important. And when you modulate the volume, okay, it is very, very powerful. It helps people to remain enthusiastic throughout your session. So of course you have practice exercises to modulate your pitch, your voice, how you conduct your voice in a powerful and effective manner. So voice is an extremely important element of public speaking. Let's move ahead. Okay. Body language. Okay, the next aspect after voice, I would say, is body language. While the content that we speak, the verbal conversation is important, equally important is the body language. Body language actually conveys a lot. How comfortable you are, how confident you are, what is the passion you carry through yourself. That really conveys a lot. Imagine a person, going up to the stage and addressing hundreds of people with low energy, drooped body language. People will not even feel like listening to him, right? So a confident body posture is the key element. Not very stiff, that will reflect rigidity. not too loose. That will again reflect weakness. Many people, if they are nervous, they will, put their hands inside the pockets. That is again seen as a sign of weakness. It's like, they are trying to cover up their nervousness. So a confident body posture is very important, and upright, not very rigid, not very loose body language is important. And you can certainly mirror the vibes of the audience and make internal gestures. These are hand movements. Hand movements should never be too loud, so that it distracts the audience attention. Again, it should not be like you're just standing without any hand movement. So optimum hand movements are also important to convey confidence and focus for the audience. Okay, so power posing, so your confident body posture is again very, very powerful. It is important for us to understand that this body language, non-verbal cues, make almost 55% of communication impact. Okay, so it is equally important as much as whatever content you have prepared to deliver to your audience. So use a confident body posture that will leave a lasting impact with the audience. And they also form their perceptions about you, right? The moment you see a person, you may not know anything about the person, but by the sheer appearance, you form your own perceptions about this person as, like a expert in what they do, as a confident person, as a reliable person. Very subconsciously, we form these opinions and perceptions about the speaker. Okay, and to this body language, I'll also like to add eye contact. Eye contact is very important. So when you have a forum, if you're up the stage or you're on the work floor addressing many audience, never focus only on one person. Okay, so the ideal eye contact language, I would say, is like a T-shaped. Okay, so you move your eyes in a T shape. That will sort of make it very organic, that you're looking at every person, and every person in the audience is important. Okay, so eye contact is also important. And to this, I would also like to add how you dress appropriately for the occasion. Being presentable is also an important element as a public speaker. Okay. Any thoughts? Feel free to put it on chat. Okay. Okay. So let's move to the next aspect. It is called the space technique. Okay. So it is again in conjunction to whatever we have been discussing till now. So the space technique summarizes the format. So starting, we spoke about a very, very powerful introduction, a catchy introduction, different styles of introduction, how you connect with your audience, how to speak trending aspects to connect with the vibes of the audience. So introduction is very important. That's like, so the format of your speech, structure it like 10% introduction, where you grab the attention, state your purpose, your premise, that is your main plot of the conversation, along with the actual reasons, purpose, etc., will form the body of your message. That should account for like 80%, where you give supporting evidences, examples, substantiate whatever that you have to say. That is powerful and effective. And conclusion. In the conclusion, we typically say call for action and ending note. So I would say, when we say call for action, typically we deliver speeches with a certain purpose. Okay, for example, a business leader is delivering a speech to his employees. The idea is people work charged up, grow the business, reduce costs, various aspects, right? So at the end of the speech, he should call for action, summarizing 2-3 key action points which people will take away and work upon. So he summarizes his content in a manner that I would want you all to go back to your workflow and start implementing these techniques and strategy, and look at focusing on achieving these objectives that will be called for action. In social media context, what do we typically see? At the end of the video, people say, please follow, subscribe, or if it is some kind of club, they say, get yourself added as member. Or even if it is some kind of voluntary activity, they will say, now that you relate to the cause and understand the larger purpose, I'll request you all to donate. So there is always some objective. If it is a newsletter, they will say subscribe. So call for action is an important element of a speech, and it's important to include it, because that is the ultimate objective. Because most of the times, there is an objective why we deliver speeches, unless it is some speech like, a farewell speech where there's no takeaway really, but you just want to leave your messages. Even in TEDx speeches, I will say, they want people to get inspired. They want people to leave the leave the auditorium with a sense of inspiration. So that will be a subtle call of action there. And conclusion, how you conclude is equally important as much as your introduction. So that again is like a 10%. So you can frame, structure your speech in this format as intro 10%, body language, body, which is your plot and main content to the extent of 80%, and 10% as your conclusion. Any doubts, anything, feel free to put it on the chat or unmute and speak. Okay. Let's move ahead. So summarizing. Summarizing talk, as for me, is very, very important because when you're delivering a speech, typically in the average time of say 15 minutes to even 30 minutes, people definitely listen. If you give a catchy introduction, yes, people listen. But over the course of the conversation, when you deliver a lot of content, speak about a lot of facts, the retention may be lost. So summarizing helps to reinforce as to what is the key aspect of your message. Okay, it helps to call out those key points that people should remember, take away, work upon. So always summarizing is very, very important, and it also helps you to confirm the understanding of people. Okay, so it helps you to leave a lasting and impactful message by way of summarizing. So never ever forget to summarize your conversation. Okay, let's move ahead. Telling a story with a moral. Telling a story with a moral, this is typically towards the end because people like to leave the floor inspired. So sharing stories like the success stories I shared about my HSBC CEO. Similarly, in different contexts, a story with a moral works. Let me give you an example of the Tamil film industry, like, our superstar Rajnikant. What he always does in his audio launches. Audio launches are nothing but promo for his upcoming film. What he typically does is, share a story with a moral. He always leaves a story with a moral that connects with the audience, and that also helps to promote his film in a very, very nice way. And he will always leave the story with a moral where people will, start guessing, oh, did he sort of take a dig at that actor? Did he refer to this? Did he refer to that? He leaves it to the guesses and assumptions of people. But his small stories, which have an inspiring, he is a very spiritual person. So he typically leaves a lot of stories with spiritual impact. So there are key messages that he wants his audience to take away, and in a way to promote his film so that there is maximum turnout when the movies get released. So telling a story with a moral towards the conclusion is a very, very impactful way to wrap up your speech. Okay, let's move ahead. Any thoughts, feel free to put it on the chat or unmute and speak. Okay. So as I mentioned, inspiration. People love to feel inspired. So telling stories with a moral or something positive, basically something to charge up the audience. Sometimes, if you're a business leader, if you are just speaking about some upcoming context in the scheme of business, that will motivate people with some, big recognitions and incentives. That can also be a charging up way. So depending upon the context and circumstances, see what best suits to lead people with that inspiration. Okay. Now, the all important thing. We speak so much about the techniques, strategies of public speaking. Now, many people will have this. Now, I understand all of this, but I'm scared. I'm a shy person. How do I overcome the stage fright? This not only refers to going up the stage and delivering speeches. Sometimes even if you are in leadership roles, or if you're a trainer or facilitator, sometimes that stage fright might exist. So stage fright in the context of just meeting audience and connecting with them. How do you overcome it? The first element I would say is practice. So practicing is a very, very powerful and impactful technique to overcome stage fright, because that many times you are rehearsing, it builds up your confidence so that you will just go with ease. To give you an example, never get complacent, I would say. As in, even if you are a public speaker, confident speaker, if you have the gift of communication also, never underestimate the power of practice. To quote an example, Michael Jackson, he was a he was a super famous pop singer. The kind of fame that he had, I'm saying this is typically after he reached the, lines of fame, but he would still rehearse his songs, his body language, his dance movements, as much as even the lighting that, should shine upon him on the stage. He would rehearse it so many times before the actual event. If you actually search it on YouTube, you can see his rehearsal videos. Sorry, sorry, is anybody speaking? Okay. Okay. So never ever underestimate the power of practice, no matter, how much an expert you become. Practice helps you to, give your best every time. And sometimes even the best of people, if they don't practice enough, they may fail. And public speaking is not a one-time exercise that you understand strategies, techniques, and you just deliver it once and it's going to be way of life. No, you will keep, reworking on it. You will keep working on the techniques. So practice at every occasion, big stage, small stage, it matters a lot. Okay, visualizing of delivering the speech. This again is powerful. So this is something that I practice as well. I typically practice in front of the mirror. So I get to see my body language, my face expressions, and all of that before any kind of event. And I also visualize the audience in my mind. So, which means I've already given the speech in my mind a few times before the actual, date of delivering the speech. So that makes it like I don't have to fear. For example, this very content that I'm delivering, I've already practiced it a few times in my mind, imagining the audience, imagining the forum. So it is making it very easy for me to flow because I've already done it in my memory. Okay, so that is a way to overcome stage fright. Breathing exercises is extremely helpful in order to overcome anxiety. Okay, there is something called box breathing. It's like breathing to a count of four, holding, exhaling to a count of four, and again holding. It's called the box breathing technique. You can search it up. It's very, very powerful. If you practice it even regularly, it can help you to de-stress, stay at your calm temperament to deliver your best. So breathing helps a lot in order to feel calm, overcome all those butterflies in the stomach. Then positive self-talk. Positive self-talk, I would say, is again extremely powerful. You can say affirmations like, I'm a great speaker. My audience love my speech. You say it in a manner that it is already happening. When you keep rewiring your brain with positive statements, it's extremely powerful to make that mind shift and help you overcome stage fright. And of course, statistics say that 75% of speakers experience anxiety. So it's, if you are feeling, if you are one person who has stage fright, remember you're not alone. And maybe those so-called powerful public speakers are also not people who don't have stage fright, but those who have overcome stage fright with a lot of practice and persistence and following various techniques and strategies, what works best for them. All right. Okay, let's move ahead. Any thoughts, anything, feel free to put it in the chat before we move ahead. Okay, and Q&A. Q&A is a very, very important segment because this helps to interact with audience, get their vibes, and always be prepared for it. Especially in business context, if you're addressing audience, people will have challenging questions. When you preempt those questions and be prepared with your answers, that will help you to deliver, to project yourself in a state of credibility, that you are able to answer everything in a very, very convincing manner. It adds on to your brand and builds your image. So anticipate questions, and having those Q&A sessions is very, very powerful. It also helps you to validate how much of what I have conveyed has been absorbed by the audience, and are they aligned with it, or do they have any different thoughts and perspectives about it? This is a happening trend, right? These days, business town halls in companies and various organizations, they have very less of content and they open up for Q&A. You have those Slidos where they give you even anonymous options to ask questions. If people are scared to ask, they can just ask questions. And people typically answer those questions effectively. If a bonus payout has happened and there is a business town hall just happening after that, then the business leaders will be ready for questions on the pay parity. So that is something they will definitely prepare. This is just an example. Similarly, in any forum, just anticipate. You can't anticipate everything with 100% certainty, but preparing for what are the probable questions can help you to, project yourself and handle the situation really well. And whenever you're responding, try using these strategic techniques. Transition to a strong point in a very smooth way. Flagging off, highlight those key alert points. And you bring the focus pivoting to the relevant topics, and always acknowledge, validate the questioner. That feels very connected with the audience as well. Okay, so typically the statistics says that 91% of people rate Q&A as very valuable, and anticipating and preparing for the tough questions can help the speaker, put the speaker in a very strong position to handle the event. Okay, so we will also have a Q&A at the end of the session, and I look forward. Okay, let's move ahead. Visual aids. In this current era of AI times, I think visual aids come more handy, more easily than ever. But the trend should be have less slides, but keep it very visually appealing. Put those images, colors, backgrounds in a very, very appealing manner while you deliver the content. So less text, but visually appealing. Instead of quoting lot of bullet points on data of percentages and figures, if you quote relevant graphs, which gives comparison contrast, that connects with the audience. So, and keeping visually appealing images, colors, and backgrounds in your slides can also connect with the audience. And that can make your presentations very, very impactful. All right. Okay. We are almost coming towards the end. And before we flag a few key points, connecting with your audience with empathy and authenticity. That is extremely important. You should always be empathetic about your audience. Because only then you will be able to connect with your vibes and also deliver content in a very convincing manner. If you don't empathize with the feelings of people and you are here only to deliver a monologue, that is not a two-way communication. So empathy, acknowledgement is a very, very key aspect. Understand the needs of your audience. Now, for today's forum, I know that I have to speak about impactful communication, and I should empathize with the vibes and nuances associated with the topic and be ready for Q&A also appropriately. So sharing stories, we already, covered it enough. Anecdotes, stories, analogies are a powerful way to deliver even a complex message in a very, very easy fashion. Third, most important, close to my heart, is the speak from heart point. They say, right, what really differentiates food cooked by a mother versus what we eat at restaurants or cooked by a maid also, so to say, right? It is basically that love and affection, that from the heart activity. Similarly, for public speaking also, when you speak from your heart, it will connect with the audience. Trust me, try it once if you are a person who have not done it before, who have not applied this emotion quotient to your public speaking, it makes a huge difference. When you do it wholeheartedly, that the objective of my today's session is to share impactful communication techniques to the audience, I am sure this content will be received in the same vibe as much as I want you to receive it, right? So authentic leaders, they say, build 3 times more trust. And how this authenticity comes by the, heartfelt intentions and content delivery. Understand your audience and customize the content accordingly, and share personal stories to build the trust. Speaking from the heart to ignite the passion. All right. Okay. So we spoke a bit about practice. To reiterate, so practicing is not a one-time affair. It is an ongoing affair. There should be continuous improvement in the path of public speaking. You have to be well-read, be abreast with the latest trends and happenings. That is the way to connect with your audience, and for which you need to do a bit of research. You need to be updated with the latest happenings and prepare really well to connect with your audience. So some of the techniques here, I would say, I spoke about speaking in front of the mirror. In today's, mobile phone technology, you can record your speeches and see it. That will really give you a perspective. Sometimes you might feel very, very confident that you're doing a great job when you don't record. But after you record, you will understand that, oh, my voice modulation should have been this. My stress and pause should have been this. It gives you a lot of flavor as to, how you should improvise. So that, that is a super self-evaluation technique, I would say. Seek feedback. You will have mentors, well-wishers. So you can record and share, or, just perform in front of those mentors and ask them for feedback, how you can improve it. Rehearse widely. Rehearsal is very, very helpful. I would also say, if y'all are, passionate public speakers and want to shine in this space, you can explore venues like Toastmasters, because it is a forum where people don't judge you, but you also get feedback every time as to what has been good and what can even be better. And I think for that matter, even today's AI, if you record and upload, or, just prepare your draft and ask AI to evaluate it, gives you a very honest and effective feedback how you can improvise. So these are ways how you refine and fine tune your speeches to deliver it in a very impactful manner. And don't get bogged on, supposing one time it doesn't work well, it's okay. Keep doing. With more and more practice, you will see that remarkable progression in your own self from where you started to where you see yourself over the, period of time. All right. So let's move to the last slide. This is, how you own the stage to be a confident communicator. If you get a stage space to deliver a speech, own the stage. Remember that body language, eye contact. You can use the space to even walk with optimum body movements. You don't have to, walk too much so it is distracting. But you can own the stage and, do that mild walking to even connect with your audience. On the stage with confidence. I think that communicating that passion and confidence is very, very powerful to, convey messages in very meaningful manner to the audience, right? So attending workshops to fine tune your skills. And as I mentioned, you have these open mic sessions, Toastmaster sessions. These are venues where you can really go and, test the water and also receive proper feedback. Of course, the mentor and well-wisher feedback will also be helpful. So just before I wrap up today's session, I will just recap the entire thing. Introduction, a powerful introduction. We spoke about different styles and techniques of introduction. We understood storytelling, how to include humor, anecdotes and analogies, then the main plot, and to be cognizant of timing, bearing in mind the attention span of the audience to structure the body of the message. And in conclusion, leaving a story with a moral, or leaving a note of inspiration for the client along with a call of action and summary will be very powerful for the audience to retain whatever content you have shared. We saw the techniques to overcome stage fright, breathing techniques, rehearsing, practice, attending workshops, researching, and stepping up your public speaking delivery techniques. All right. So that comes to the end of the session. Thank you very much. You've been a very patient and encouraging audience for me. I'm open for Q&A now. Happy to listen to any questions, queries that you may have. I basically like to see some response, so show your love and appreciation. You can just say anything that comes to your mind. I'm all ears.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. So much, it's really impactful. The small little things with examples where you have given from the introduction. It was really understandable for a person who has no idea how to go about it. Like how an introduction actually changes the speech. So, and sticking to the time limit of what you have been giving us an insightful,
Thank you so much, Regula, for
Yeah,
your
yeah, right. Yeah.
participation and kind words as well. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
definitely. So much to learn from how to go about going on stage, and these are the normal things which every person goes, no, to whether to speak, how to speak, whether I'm speaking properly, and that fright. So everything being taken care of, and so much to learn. Thank you so much for the
Thank
wonderful
you
session.
so much, Regula. It feels very satisfying. That's the objective why we are
Learning,
here to deliver
lots to
content.
learn when a person is empowered, learning. I think so. We all benefit.
Yes,
Thank you
absolutely.
so much.
Thank you so much, Regula. Anybody else share your thoughts? Thank you, Pradeep, for your kind words. Thank you, Jay.
Hi, ma'am. This is CA Vikram Shankar Mathur.
Hello,
Uh,
sir.
I really enjoyed your speech. Although this is not the first time I would be delivering lectures. I've been a lecturer since 2016.
Oh, lovely.
I've delivered at the National Forensic Sciences University as well.
Wow.
So but I found there were some suggestions which even I found really, really good. I mean,
And this is a continuous
very nice
learning
lecture. Yeah.
journey. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I always
Hearing it from
believe.
a person at your bandwidth and expertise feels really honored.
Yes, yes,
Thank you
yes.
so much.
Ma'am, I believe that I should be learning as long as I live. Till my last breath, I will learn. So that is why I was very happy with certain things that you said. At least that portion about owning the stage. I uh, initially, when I first gave my lecture, I was so scared. I was so scared. I said, "My God, मैं इतने सारे लोगों को कैसे बोलूँगा?" But then I realized that if I don't speak, how will they learn? What teachings can I give them if I don't speak? So basically, I call myself the Excel trainer Ahmedabad.
Okay.
It's a
Lovely,
very
sir. Thank you, sir. That was very encouraging, and
yeah.
I'm sure the message that you've conveyed is beneficial to the audience here as well.
I
That
hope
your
so. I
urge
hope
to learn and continue to learn.
absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. Thank you so
Very
much for your
inspiring,
lecture,
sir.
ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody else? Any queries? Any
Yeah,
questions?
hi Yogamika. This
Hi,
is
hi,
Pratima from
Pratham.
New Delhi. I'm sorry
Yeah.
I joined the session midway, but then whatever points I gathered, whatever points you put on slide, were two things I have picked up. First thing is that many of us, though being very seasoned as trainers, we try to not look at the audience and try to look at the walls or the ceilings while speaking. So the point which you said you can look at the audience in a T shape is something which is going to stay with me. You're just running your eyes in that form, and people think that you're looking at them. This
Yes,
is going to
yes.
stay with me, though I do not have a problem in looking to the eyes of the contestants, the participants. I always maintain that. Secondly, thing I noticed, I was just Abhi continuous. Currently, I'm working on a presentation for some young people. I have to, present something. So I was working on a very boring slide, blue, this thing, and thanks for hammering to the point that make your slides and presentations appealing according to the age of the participants. So I'm almost through with almost 30 slides. So, oh my dear, how am I going to change all of that is something which is bothering me. But yes, I'm going to do that. That is a reminder. I was planning to do that sooner. So maybe today I'll do that. So
Lovely.
and did you make your presentation on Canva?
No,
Did you use
I
Canva
have
also?
I've used Gamma AI tool. I gave the prompt and what do you say, storyline for the
Okay.
slides. Yeah, that's a free
Okay,
tool.
fine. Okay.
You can use it.
Okay, fine. I'll
Yeah,
connect with you for Gamma
yeah.
also. So
Sure,
thank
sure,
you very much,
sure.
Yoga.
Yeah,
Learned a lot. There were
yeah.
many recollections. There were many revision points. So thank you. We always need these revision points because
Absolutely.
एक flow में चलते चलते we tend to forget what we have to do. So thank you. Good job done.
Having
Love you.
listening to experts like you feels honored. Thank you so much for acknowledging.
Dear, though I'm not an expert, I'm 3 years old into the trading
See, it's good to have
facility. But
seasoned
yes,
people. Yeah, experienced people saying it. I mean, yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? Any questions? Anything on the content? Any thoughts? Any value add suggestions?